Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. And today we're talking about leagues. So if you haven't already heard or seen this, they are currently testing out leagues in limited regions in Europe, I believe the UK, maybe some other spots, but they are doing some limited testing of this new event they're adding to the game. And well, we're seeing more information about how it's going to work, how it's working in this test for those taking part, and that gives us an idea of what it might look like in the future. So let's take a look at it and talk about some of the big issues with this that a lot of people have been seeing, most notably the fact that it feels very pay to win. So, introducing leagues, a new competitive experience. We're going to do the cliff notes on this. But yeah, this is not. I really don't think in the current implementation, competitive is the right word. I mean, I guess it can be competitive, who has the larger wallet. But yeah, this, I think in the current form, it seems very anti-competitive. Due to how it works. So how does this work? So yeah, they're saying, hey, we're testing this out, give us feedback. And well, I think there will be a lot of feedback about this because it doesn't seem that great in the current iteration. So what are leagues? Limited time events. You'll be placed in a league with other similar players after your first game during the event. Then just play games as normal. Throughout the league, your league points will be adjusted based on your game outcomes. The more cubes you get means more points. At the end of the league, everyone gets rewards, but the top spots on the leaderboard will get the best ones. Sounds okay so far. Perks. Make it matter where it counts. This is where it gets bad. Ready to make your epic push to #1 in your league? Don't forget to gear up first. When you're ready to sit down and play, make the most of your time with point boosters and point shields. Perks help you get more points when you win and keep more points when you lose. You can purchase perks from the League Perk Shop. Points perk, all point rewards, wins and losses are doubled. And then point shield, you do not lose points when you lose. Let's take a look at what this looks like in game. So here we go, event perks. Now I believe the very first time you get these, they are free. You get one freebie of each, to my understanding. And then after that, you have to throw down some gold if you want to boost your points or shield your points from going down. Also, it's not super clear to me if this is only ladder or conquest too. If it's conquest, this whole thing is like supremely cooked because it's just gonna make like farming proving grounds really weird. So I would hope they would have a little bit of foresight there to make this a ladder only thing, but if it includes conquest, this seems really like abusable. There are a lot of things that make this abusable, which I think is the core problem. So you may be wondering about the rewards. Here we can see the rewards they're doing in this test run. The #1 reward is actually half decent because you get a spotlight key. That's pretty valuable. The top 3 get premium mystery variants, credits, 600, 1,000, and 1,000 for the top 3. And the most amount of boosters, and as you can see, it goes down. You get less stuff. It goes 30 players in a league currently, and the first 10 tiers you actually don't get anything more than boosters. So if you are really low down, you're probably not going to get anything too meaningful from the leagues. You can also see the time period here, 1 day and 23 hours, so it seems these will be shorter events, day or two, at least that's what it seems right now, where you just jam as much as you can to try and get those points. Now, here's something I also found super interesting. Here we can see someone participating, winning a game, getting some league points, right? You might notice that this player is currently ranked 78, which means they can run into bots because they're doing this pre-infinite when you can get bots. And that makes this incredibly abusable. So if you wanted to grab yourselves a point shield and you do not care about your ladder ranking, you can go out of your way to throw as many games as possible against human opponents while winning points back from getting large cube gains off of bots. this just seems super abusable. Instead of it being the person who, you know, actually wins the most cubes, legitimately playing the game, it feels like there are ways to get around that. On top of that, there's the obvious pay-to-win boogeyman looking at us. If someone decides to pay money for these features consistently, I don't see a reasonable way you are going to compete with them if you are playing on a similar skill level and a similar amount of time investment. Now, the real question is, are people going to pay for these? And I think it's going to depend a lot on your group. Because if you get grouped with a bunch of whales, the whales don't necessarily need these rewards. These rewards are actually pretty weak as far as like if you have to spend a lot of gold to guarantee that first place. But there are definitely some players out there who are whales who just want that satisfaction of being like, oh, hey, I won the league. I got the most points. I did the thing. So I do think it will be an issue in that respect. Maybe it won't be super widespread because I think the larger player base is going to have a really hard time justifying these gold prices. This is also like real time, by the way. So if you happen to run into an opponent that is taking longer during their turns, you are going to lose out on your time faster. You're not going to get as many games. Also, that can be a strategy against people who are buying these bonuses, is just go and rope them, which honestly is kind of funny. Here we can see you earn 100 points for a win and gain or lose 25 points per cube, won or lost. So that structure seems fine, I guess. They did something like this back in beta, where maybe it was around the launch of the game. I don't remember exactly when, but they did a contest where you basically, they called it a cube rush, and you were trying to get the most cubes in a short period of time. And that's kind of similar to what we have going on here. But that was without all the pay to win stuff. And even if, let's take out the pay to win stuff for a minute. It's really bad. It's the thing everyone is focused on, and pretty understandably so, because I think it's fucking exhausting, the fact that every time we get a new feature in this game, it's all about trying to nickel and dime you. Like, I'm all for cosmetics and them making money, but like at a certain point, you want to feel like, hey, they're doing all this stuff to make more money. Maybe they'll actually do something that makes the game better that isn't about making money, but no, that does not seem to be the case, so far at least. Anyways, the other issue we have here is an issue of time. These kind of events really do lend themselves more towards players who just have a lot more time to play the game. I mean, you're not guaranteed to get the most points by having more time, because maybe you don't win as much as other players, or maybe you're losing out because someone has, you know, double point boosts or whatever. But there's no denying that just time itself is a much more advantageous thing in a structure like this, which personally I don't think is like the best, but I also don't see how you really fix that if they want to keep the structure the same here. So going back to the leagues page, let's look at some of their frequently asked questions. How do I join a league? Does it automatically? How often will leagues be active? We're not sure. It really depends on the feedback. Once we get them tuned, we could imagine running a few league events a month. How are players grouped in leagues? This is a big one. Players are grouped with other players who historically play about as much and as well as they do to try and keep leagues fair and competitive. It is really, really funny that they're putting on like the mask of like, we really want this to be a fair and, you know, have some integrity, real competition. It's a fake competition, as long as these pay to win elements are a part of it. If someone chooses to engage with that element, they are competing at a level that is just going to be way, way easier than people who are not doing that. And I know, and speaking at least for me, if it's using the MMR matchmaking stuff like we have from Ladder, and I get matched with a bunch of other like top 200 players, I think this is not going to be a super fun experience. That's definitely a minority kind of problem. Like, most people probably won't have that problem, but we'll have to see more about how the matchmaking stuff actually works when we get to try it hands-on. How much do perks cost? For the EU region test, perks will be available for 200 gold points and 150 for the other one. We'll be adjusting and tuning the cost and impact of perks over time. I feel like they're putting that there because they know people are not going to like this, like at all, because of the pay-to-win stuff. Will there be different perks in the future? Yeah, we're going to mix it up and do different stuff with it in the future. What happens at the end of leagues? At the end of leagues, you get your final standing and your rewards are distributed. And where can you give feedback? It is on the Discord. So I would highly suggest giving feedback. There was a lot of feedback I posted about this. A lot of other content creators have posted about this. Even a lot of the more positive people I find in the community, nobody likes this. It just seems really pay to win. It doesn't seem especially like fun or competitive. I mean, don't get me wrong, bonus rewards are decent and whatnot, but that's really if you're only getting in like the top caliber. Here we can see an example of the rewards. So same as we saw on the first page, but if you go down to get a variant, you need to be in the top 10. Anything below top 10, you're getting like 100, maybe 150 credits, which is like, I mean, they give that away for free like all the time. And some boosters, of course, can't forget the boosters. But imagine you're in a league with like a good amount of people who are at your skill level, maybe even a little bit better, a little bit worse than you. And you have to be in like the top, 30% just to get an okay-ish reward. I mean, again, if you get it for free, that's nice and all. But the structure of it really is just super off-putting to me. And it's weird because, like, again, the whales aren't incentivized to waste gold on this stuff because whales have a lot of keys. Whales don't need an extra 1,000 credits through this. So it feels like kind of like a rich get richer if whales end up, using gold to propel their way to the top. And then if they don't, because the resources aren't worth it to them, then who is this feature for? Regular players certainly do not have enough free gold to justify spending on something like this. And frankly, unless you're getting that #1 spot with the spotlight key, most of these rewards in terms of like tangible value, it's like under $10 worth of like stuff. So it's really not worth spending gold just to try and increase your chance of getting like a slightly more small amount of rewards. So yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with this. I mean, I do know what they were thinking. They were trying to make this like a lot of other mobile games where it's just another thing you can spend on and infinite spending things to make all the money. But it really does completely undermine any chance of this being a real competitive, fun thing to engage with, in my opinion. Like, I have no interest in treating this competitively at all. Not only because of pay to win, but also just because of how abusable these systems seem. Like, for example, there is nothing in the game that incentivizes you to currently, improve your ladder ranking. And you could say, well, maybe this is attempting to do that. Maybe this is how, they do these leagues and people want to be a bit more competitive so they get up in their league, right? However, if you're going to run into people of a similar skill level, doesn't it just incentivize you if you really want to get that max reward, and especially if you don't want to have to pay to improve your chances, go out of your way, tank your rating, just concede a bunch, lose a bunch, and get into a bracket where you're playing with players who are very clearly below your skill level, and then just clown on them and take the rewards for yourself, because there's really no thing disincentivizing you from doing that other than maybe it'll slow down your infinite climb if you're not already there yet, or maybe it'll slow down your climb next season because you'll have lower MMR and get less bots or something. But there's just not there's more incentives to abuse this system than disincentives to not. I think people are going to abuse this. It's just, if I was a free-to-play player who really, really wanted that extra key for progress, I would totally abuse doing this, because it's just the optimal thing to do if you want to give yourself the best chance of getting the good rewards. And that is just a super flawed system. So yeah, there's been a lot of conversation surrounding this. I'm sure it will continue. I would encourage you to go drop your feedback on the Discord. I feel like this could be one of those things where they intentionally run a worse version at first, and they know people aren't going to like it. and they walk it back so it seems more palatable. Companies do that quite often. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they're going for here, but it's also, you know, second dinner, so they make decisions like this all the time. It's not super surprising. It is unfortunate though, because to me, I would like to see their development time go towards stuff that actually makes me more excited and interested to play the game, or to help players who are new or returning players get back into it. And well, Leagues is neither of those things, which is a shame. It's not the new game mode though. Some people have had some confusion around that. Leagues is not a new game mode, it's just an event type structure. So still waiting to see what that new mode is. But if they're trying to monetize a simple thing like League so much, it does give me concerns for whenever we get this new mode and how they plan on monetizing that. We got off kind of lucky with Conquest, and that has been free to play friendly, pretty much as good as it gets for Snap. And it would be nice if the next mode was too, but I'm not so sure that'll be the case after seeing them try to pull this in something as simple as these short events. That's going to wrap it up for this one, though. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How would you adjust or change this? I feel like, I mean, they should just get rid of these perks, or you could make them a limited thing where every player has X amount of them, you use them strategically. But as long as there is a way to pay money to buy perks to make your experience easier than other players, a competitive experience, this will not be. Nor do I expect it to be a really fun one either, because it's not really drastically changing how you play the game. It just means you might try a little bit harder. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.